What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to FudgeMuppet. My name is Michael, and today I'm bringing you a really creepy but awesome build, Boethiah's Shade. As you can tell, this is a modded build which we do every second week, and you'll want the following mods for the awesome spells and sick aesthetics. You'll want the Immersive Armors mod, the Immersive Weapons mod, and the Midas Magic mod. These are the essentials, and if you want to add to the role-playing, which I really do suggest, you can get the Alternate Start mod and choose the Dark Brotherhood Guild option. Boethiah's Shade is all about manipulation, deceit, and betrayal. When it comes to the ritual armor of Boethiah, you can either craft it straight away by turning off quest requirements on Immersive Armors, or if you want to play it legit, you will need to level up and complete Boethiah's quest first. The character, now known as Boethiah's Shade, was not always a killing, manipulative serial killer. Born in Shadenhall, the Dark Elf grew up in a family of refugees who lived off the earnings of the father, who was a blacksmith. The family were originally from Morrowind, and they brought their religion with them, being devout worshippers of the Reclamations. Eventually, when the man who was now Boethiah's Shade grew up, he followed his father's trade and became a blacksmith. His father taught him how to craft special reclamation-based items, but told him not to sell and distribute this gear to the market. Eventually, Boethiah's Shade had his own blacksmith business, selling basic gear. However, as the years passed, a master blacksmith moved into town and became a competitor who put the character out of business. The build character found this extremely enraging, and so he turned to the Reclamations for help. He read through their teachings for guidance, finding the wisdoms of Boethiah the most appealing. He read and found that he simply could not stop. He had always been taught plenty about the Reclamations growing up, but never this much, and never things as violent as what he now saw. He became consumed by what Boethiah stood for, and decided to create a plan. Quitting his job as a blacksmith, Boethiah's Shade decided to get a job as a helper or a sort of apprentice. He worked for the master blacksmith, who was a Nord, and began to form a friendship with him. He'd stay after hours, they'd kick back and have some mead before departing for home. Eventually, on one of these nights, Boethiah's Shade poisoned the blacksmith's mead, and as they laughed together having a drink, Boethiah's Shade was laughing a bit harder than usual. Minutes later, the blacksmith began to cough and splutter until he fell to the ground and bled out completely through his mouth. The build decides to leave his family and not tell them a thing of what he did and what he would now do. He made the choice that he must disappear from Shadenhall and begin doing what he considered Boethiah's true work, instead of just worshipping at a shrine. Boethiah's Shade travels from town to town, making friends through various jobs along the way, gaining their companionship until deciding to kill them in the most manipulative and evil ways. In Bruma one time, he was working as the right-hand man of a leader of a mercenary group. He stayed with them for a long time until of course he decided to betray the mercenary leader and kill him. This act alone caused the massive group to split. They were left in disarray, becoming two separate factions who ended up warring against each other. Boethiah's Shade did this for Boethiah, and he loved the pure chaos of it all. Eventually, he decided to continue this in Skyrim, which he did do until he heard word of the Dark Brotherhood's presence. He sought them out, and that is where you will begin. The skills for Boethiah's Shade are going to be Illusion, Sneak, Smithing, and Light Armor. While one-handed is technically one of your skills, you won't be having perks in it due to just using a dagger. Your damage will come from sneak attacks, which is your main offense. Illusion is going to be used for your spells, mainly Invisibility and the Ghost Walk spell, and you can also manipulate people with spells such as Frenzy. This will all be done from the shadows, so invisibility is quite important. To start with, however, and throughout the game for heaps of fun, your main spell you're going to be using is Ghost Walk, and it's from the Midas Magic mod. This is a novice spell that lets you go invisible for 10 seconds and then teleport back to where you were when you first casted the spell. It's fun to try jumping off a cliff to escape enemies only to teleport back behind them just before you hit the ground. It's also useful for going into a room, slitting someone's throat and teleporting back to a hiding spot. Another spell to be used is called the Mind Vision spell, and this is fun for roleplaying and can also be useful letting you see from an enemy's point of view. Sneak is obviously to stay undetected and stealthy, Light Armor for extra fortification, and Smithing for roleplaying the backstory and also to craft all your amazing gear. Your gear is nice and easy to remember. You're going to want the Black Sting Dagger and a full set of Ritual Armor of Boethiah, including the Ritual Mask and Shroud. As implied earlier, this build will also want to be doing the Dark Brotherhood storyline and enjoy manipulating and killing his enemies. All the perks that you will need can be found in the description alongside a link to our social media pages and our ideal Fallout 4 video, which if you didn't know, Fallout 4 has now been officially announced by Bethesda. When it comes to the playstyle, Boethiah's Shade is in and out in smooth motions, remaining unseen, being seen, and then magically disappearing. He finds revealing himself to his enemies for killing's fun. It messes with their minds, especially when they have no idea where he keeps going. The Ghost Walk spell is therefore a crucial part of the playstyle. Your playstyle as well, however, isn't really set in stone. You can do as you please as long as it involves manipulation, betrayal, or causing fear. Perhaps you want to find more allies to kill, or perhaps you want to cast frenzy spells from the shadows and watch companions fight each other to the death. Whatever you need to do to achieve your goals whilst having fun is the way to go. Remember, however, Ghost Walk, Ghost Walk, Ghost Walk. Learn to use it in as many unique and interesting ways as you can, cutting throats and teleporting around the battlefield. When it comes to the Standing Stone, we're going to be going with the trusty Lord Stone for 50 more points to your armor rating and 25% resistance against magic. For a stat spread, Boethiah's Shade will have 50% magicka for all your manipulative and stealthy spells, 40% health to simply stay alive, and 10% stamina for that extra rolling around in sneak mode and sprinting. And that finishes off this week's modded Skyrim build, Boethiah's Shade. Thanks for tuning in, and remember to like the video if you enjoy what we're doing here in FudgeMuppet, share it with all your friends, and most importantly, subscribe for much more. Remember again, everything you'll want to check out, like the perk link, the ideal Fallout 4, and our social media pages can be found in the description. Oh, and the mod links will be there as well. My name is Michael, thanks for tuning in to FudgeMuppet, and I will see you very soon.